Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Vishnupad Paramaḥ Sarvakacharastarasisimat His Divine Grace Sri Desa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramaḥ Sarvakacharastarasisimat His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Guru Parampara Ki Jai Shri Bhagavad Gita as it is Ki Jai Vrindavan Dharma Ki Jai All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalta Tubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary Srila Prabhu. Today's verse is number 10 of chapter 12, Devotional Service. So, please repeat. Abhyāse pi asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi abhyāse pi asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi abhyāse piya asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi. Okay.
Abhyāse pi asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi.
Abhyāse pi asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava
mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi. Mat-karma-paramo bhava karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi.
abhyāse api asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim
avāpsyasi. So, word for word, please repeat. Abhyāse, in practice, api, even if, asamartha, unable, asi, you are, mat-karma, my work, paramaḥ, dedicated to, bhava, become, mad-artham, for my sake, api, even, karmāṇi, work, kurvan, performing, siddhim, perfection, avāpsyasi, you will achieve. So, translation, if you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti-yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me you will come to the perfect stage. Please repeat. If you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti-yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Purport Srila Prabhupada. One who is not able even to practice the regulative principles of bhakti-yoga under the guidance of a spiritual master can still be drawn to this perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. How to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. Abhyāse yogena. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and they require help. So even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of bhakti-yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand, so the same is required in the service of Kṛṣṇa. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Kṛṣṇa, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Kṛṣṇa consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Kṛṣṇa consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Kṛṣṇa consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love of God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Very clear purport, right? So, Mukam karochi vachalam pangam naite girim yat kripatamaham bande Sri Guru Diritarinam. Abhyāse pi asamartho mat-karma-paramo bhava mad-artham api karmāṇi kurvan siddhim avāpsyasi. If you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti-yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Yes, that's the point. We want to come to the perfect stage. Mahaprabhu has made that very clear. That is prem bhav. We want Kṛṣṇa prem. But Kṛṣṇa here is explaining to Arjuna different levels of engagement. Of course, Arjuna is very much lovingly prem bhav attached to Kṛṣṇa. So this expansion or idea of devotional service is a little bit below Arjuna's position. Arjuna is very much in the, I think it was chapter 8. Yes. Oh, no, 7. Yes. It's 6 and 7. But those who worship me, now this comes after Kṛṣṇa explains that those that follow the impersonal path, at the beginning of the chapter, we discussed this last week, Arjuna asked which is better to follow, the impersonal conception and follow the path attached to that for perfection, or should we follow the personal path? So Kṛṣṇa has already explained that impersonal path is very difficult for those that are in a material body, those that want to meditate on the Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, the impersonal or the personal effulgence of Kṛṣṇa. That is difficult. And the reason he gives, is because if you're embodied, you're experiencing all this variety, and you're experiencing the desire to eat, sleep, mate, defend. So it's very difficult to maintain a meditation upon an impersonal absolute. Because that, as the Vedas say, nirvisesh and nirguna. Nirguna means without qualities, and nirvisesh means without variety, that impersonal conception. But our acharyas have explained the proper understanding that nirguna, when describing the absolute truth, refers to no material qualities. And nirvisesh explains no material variety. Because the absolute truth is the source of all the variety in the material world. And Krishna's bodily effulgence, the Brahmajyoti, Brahman, different names are there. It is actually sometimes taken as the impersonal Brahman. But actually we know it is the personal effulgence of Kṛṣṇa. So it is ultimately linked to Kṛṣṇa. So if somebody meditates on the Brahman, free of all material qualities, material variety, eventually he will progress to Turiya. Turiya means the fourth level of consciousness. Generally the living entity will experience three material levels on the material world. That is tamagun. And the illusion, sleepiness, deep illusion, so on. Then he'll experience a level of consciousness in rajagun, which is more passionate, more active. One wants to enjoy the material world. Then he can experience in sattvagun a more balanced meditation or reaction to the material energy. He'll be truthful, interested in spiritual matters, honest, and so on. But explains in the Shastras, there in 11th canto, the fourth level of consciousness is Turiya. That Turiya is above these modes. Though we say there is three, they mix up. Some people are a little bit sattvic with a lot of rajagun. Sometimes they're fluctuating and so on and so forth. Kṛṣṇa will explain this later. But Turiya means above the modes, when one is attached. So it's very hard to get attached to just the bodily effulgence, because it is not a place of Leela. If one is meditating upon Kṛṣṇa Leela, that is a very charming place. The Leela of Kṛṣṇa with Radharani, with Nanda Yashoda, and then with the cowherd boys and his servants, and all the variety in the spiritual world. When one is purified, one gets a taste for that. And so that's very easy to meditate upon once one has purified oneself by bhakti-yoga. But if one is just without full knowledge, meditating on the impersonal absolute Brahman as the final point of spirituality, then that is not so attractive as Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is all attractive. That's reference to his form. But his Brahman, effulgence, is also attractive. There is that verse, I think we quoted last week, Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pahitam mukham. And the person is praying, "Oh Kṛṣṇa, please remove your golden effulgence so that I can see your form of bliss." So from a distance we may see a light, but when we become closer we see that that light is a building and there's an activities within the building. So from a distance, without full knowledge or realization, we may think, "Oh, the spiritual energy is full of bliss and it is above the variety of the material world." But that is not the correct perception of the whole material world. But if one gets that conception and he meditates upon that, he will make progress. But it'll be difficult for him to transcend the modes, Kṛṣṇa says, because it's difficult for those within a material body. Because the material body, this material world, is full of variety. So it's very hard to have an idea of something that has no qualities, no variety. Because as soon as you're thinking about it, you're thinking about a particular quality. So there is a conflict in it. But still, by the sincere endeavor, Kṛṣṇa will reciprocate. Because Kṛṣṇa is by nature merciful. So he will help. Yes. Advancement very troublesome. To make progress, for though it's difficult if you're embodied. And then he returns to describing devotional service to the personal form. And he explains, this is very interesting, this, "Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality." That means the personal form. You're all devotees, so you're familiar with this. "And engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me, always without a doubt." So you see this 4 times. Prabhupada says in the purport, "Fix your mind upon me," Kṛṣṇa is saying. Upon me, he's emphasizing me. But then he says it again. "And engage all your intelligence in me," Kṛṣṇa says. So that's, fix your mind upon me and put your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me. Always without a doubt. So put your mind upon me, engage your intelligence in me, then you will live in me always without a doubt. So Kṛṣṇa's, this is the path of bhakti, that we are manmana bhava mad-bhakto majjāji mam naskaru. We are hearing the pastimes of Kṛṣṇa, we're discussing the pastimes, we're remembering the pastimes, we're serving the pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. So we can use all our talents as a person, as a personality, in that service. Whereas if we meditate on the impersonal, there's nothing to offer in a sense, other than the mind and the conception of a bright light. So that is not so attractive. And the personality is the source of that effulgence. Now, this is number 9, before today's verse. So that if you fix your mind upon Kṛṣṇa and your intelligence, your loving attitude, and you live within Kṛṣṇa, that is siddhim. There's 2 types of bhaktas in this book by Jagadananda Pandit, who is Satyabhama. In Krishna Leela, Radharani expands as Satyabhama for Dwarka Leela. And in Chaitanya Leela, Satyabhama becomes Jagadananda Pandit. And he is explaining, it's a very beautiful summary of bhakti. I'm hoping to reprint it and republish it soon. And in that book, Jagadananda Pandit explains there's two types of bhaktas. One is siddha and the other is sadhaka. Siddha means exactly that. Nitya siddha Krishna prem. His prem, or the soul's prem, has fully developed and Swarup Siddhi has been attained. Which means the soul's constitutional form in Dasya Bhav, or in constitutional form in Sakya Bhav as a friend of Krishna, or as a parental mood, that constitutional form, or the constitutional form in conjugal Madhurya Ras, has completely manifest. So this is, the form is constitutional. In some areas of Vaishnavism, they don't understand that. But all our acharyas, Bhaktivinoda, Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada, if you study their writings, they will explain that the soul has a constitutional form. If we think that the soul has no constitutional form, this is an infection of impersonalism. It means, oh, the soul is just a spark of consciousness that is without form. But Krishna explains, Mama Angsa Jiva Loke. So this is a philosophical misunderstanding, that Krishna, his form as Krishna, is constitutional. Krishna is not the Brahman, impersonal Brahman, having assumed a form. That is the Mayavadi idea, that the impersonal Brahman reacts with the material energy and then creates the form of Durga, Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, Vishnu. But that impersonal energy has no constitutional form. So then they also think that the living entity, he reacts with the material modes and takes a body. But Krishna is constitutionally Krishna. Do you understand this point? He is by nature. And therefore, Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha. So the soul has four qualities. Krishna, he is Sat, eternal, he is conscious, Ananda is full of bliss and an enjoyer of bliss, and Vigraha means he has form and quality. And by that form and personality, and he is experiencing eternality. He is experiencing consciousness. He is experiencing Ananda. So, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Also, at the end of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the nature of the soul is described. Satchitananda Rupasya. That is in the writings of Sanatana Goswami, and he explains that the soul is like Krishna because it is an angsa of Krishna, it is a sample of Krishna. The soul also is eternal, one aspect. The soul is conscious, the soul is feeling bliss and experiencing bliss, and Rupasya, he's the form of that, meaning that he has a personality within the soul which is experiencing. Just like if we understand, we can understand this from our personal experience. Now it is the humidity of the rainy season. So we're not just experiencing it in the way that this microphone might be experiencing the heat and cold and the humidity. but we are experiencing the experience. We are cognizant of our condition. We are the observer of our condition. Whereas this microphone, which it doesn't know if it's hot or cold, or if I'm speaking or what I'm saying. It is not self-aware. So the soul is self-aware, and that is the fourth aspect. He is eternally existing. He is eternally existing with consciousness. He's perceiving his happiness and distress in the material world, and he is experiencing that by observation of himself. You understand this point? So they're the 4 points. They are all blended together in the soul. So, when the soul is liberated in bhakti and he is perfected, he experiences the full development of his soul. And that means that the soul is just like a spark in the undeveloped condition. It is just like a seed, just like the seed of a tree has the design of a tree within, but it has not yet fully expressed itself. Within each seed there is a peepal tree, an ashwatthama tree, an oak tree, so on. It is there, but it is dormant. So when it is said, Jivera Swarupoi Kṛṣṇa Nichadas, is saying that different souls through different lifetimes of bhakti practice, they have different levels of development of their swarup. Just in the same way that a tree has different levels of development. The first, if you plant a tulsi seed, you first two leaves come, then 4 leaves come, and then so on and so forth. Then it develops more seeds. So the soul is like that. That is the example Prabhupada gives. The soul is, each soul, just like every seed, has a particular tree in it. So every soul is equipped with his own constitutional nature. And that is the nature of the soul, because it is an angsa, it is a sample of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is constitutionally Kṛṣṇa. He's not become Kṛṣṇa by interacting with the modes or so on and so forth. He is constitutionally Kṛṣṇa. So we are angsa, mama angsa jiva loke jiva buddha. And so we also are constitutionally devotees of Kṛṣṇa. Nichara Kṛṣṇadas. So this sloka here, where Kṛṣṇa is explaining, just always fix your mind in me, live in me, your intelligence. This is the Siddha Bhakta. His constitutional form has fully developed. And this is also the analogy given by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami says that the bhakti lata grows from the soul, and it grows and it goes through the material coverings, and then it finds refuge at the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, and it flowers, and then after the flowering the fruit comes. And that fruit is love of God. So this is also corresponding between, with the acharyas and so on and so forth, that the soul is developing his swarup. Just like in the Brahma Samhita, it says the highest devotion is Prabhude Jnana Bhakti Bhyamatmani Ananda Chinmayi Uttamak Bhakti Bhagavat Prema Lakshana. The highest devotion, prem, is attained by slow degrees, by the method of Siddhanta, Pramana, understanding the process, the Vedic conclusions, by theistic conduct, and steady application. Just like a tree grows steadily. So the Swarup doesn't suddenly appear after chanting Hare Krishna for a week. It will grow slowly, slowly. And then once it is developed and it has grown fully, this is an analogy, and the fruit of that growth is there, then the devotee enjoys the mellows of love of God with Kṛṣṇa. So we should understand that, the gradual process of bhakti. Acharyas have described in this way. But we should be assured that we have our relationship with Kṛṣṇa inbuilt to the soul. Like I say, in some upper sampradayas, they're saying, I will give you Swarup. I will give you the meditation. This is your pranali, this is my diksha patra, and I do. No, you don't find that in the Bhagavatam, in the writings of Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion. You don't find that in the writings of Raghunath Das, because the soul develops spiritually when the practice and the conception is correct. Pramana. When you have the clear idea, then you can develop nicely. But if you're thinking, oh, I don't have a form, but I have to meditate upon a form, and then I have to be careful what I meditate upon, because I might develop the wrong form. You understand? I don't want to meditate upon the battle of Kurukshetra, because I might develop a form in the battlefield. The soul is there equipped. But Kṛṣṇa first explains to Arjuna here, you're living in me, your intelligence is with me, your desire is with me. So that is the Siddha Bhakta. His relationship is established with Kṛṣṇa. So we are all made for that. We can all attain that. But how? Then Kṛṣṇa, the perfect spiritual master, if you cannot practice, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, this is the following verse after that perfection of always being in bhava. Then, if you cannot fix your mind without deviation, like the devotee in prem, developed prem bhav, then follow the regulative principles of bhakti-yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So Kṛṣṇa is telling us something very wonderful, that, okay, I don't have prem bhav, but also the problem is, I'm not really attracted to prem. For some reason I still want to watch the movies, I still want to talk to my friends about cricket, and so on. My desire to attain Kṛṣṇa is less. But I know I should walk this path towards Kṛṣṇa, but how can I do it? My mind is in the way. If you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, if you're being distracted, you've heard from the spiritual master, you've heard from the acharyas, you've read Shastra, oh, I'd like to go to the spiritual world and be with Kṛṣṇa, but my mind is taking me here and there. Then follow the regulative principles of bhakti-yoga. In this way, develop a desire. So just like if you have a desire to be a madanga player, then you will practice. Oh, he's a good madanga player, I want to be like that. Then you will practice steadily, day by day. oh, I want to learn the harmonium, you'll practice. But if you don't have the desire, you won't practice. So the real thing is that you have to decide, right, I want to attain Kṛṣṇa, but so now I have to practice bhakti-yoga in the level of sadhana. Because as we said, there's two types of devotees. There's the siddha, who's attained bhava, bhakti, and then there is the sadhaka. Sadhaka is the person who has understood, I have to perform jnana and vairag, I have to learn the shastra, I have to become theistic and pure in my lifestyle, and I have to practice steadily. And then it will wake up my prem bhav, right? This is the devotee. So, as he practices sadhana nicely with sadhu sangha, then his desire to attain Kṛṣṇa is the fruit. And that desire to attain Kṛṣṇa that the sadhaka feels, the sadhaka will find that he is attracted to Kṛṣṇa, but he will find that he is attracted to Kṛṣṇa in a particular bhava. Because the desire to attain Kṛṣṇa is not, I want to attain Kṛṣṇa, but it is in a particular mood of that constitutional nature. Some people will desire to attain Kṛṣṇa and they will have an awakening of madhurya ras. They'll have an awakening of vatsalya bhav, parental attitude. Some people will awaken naturally in a mood of sakya bhav and dasya bhav. This mood, this awakening of the mood, the desire, will be in one of those basic categories. Of course, everybody has a particular relationship, individual relationship, so that will wake up. But Acharyas, Rupa Goswami, is explaining Abhidheya, how to perform bhakti. He explains this. Cultivate not just bhakti, but cultivate the awakening mood. Bhakti is described in different ways, but basically bhakti, another way of understanding bhakti is that it is in sadhana bhakti or it is in bhava bhakti. These are the stages of bhakti. Sadhana bhakti can be broken into two stages. One is Vaidhi bhakti, following the rules and regulations, chanting regularly, going to Mangalarti, following regulative principles, try to become a good personality, pure in your activities, so on and so forth. This is the rules and regulations of bhakti. Try to purify your existence, and in Kali Yuga, chant Hare Krishna. But chant Hare Krishna desiring perfection. Just like we sing every morning. Moraye abilas, vilas kunjadiyo vas. I want to serve Vrinda Devi and the divine couple in Vrindavan. I'm just not impersonally or meditating, but I want to serve them in that realm. So Vaidhi Bhakti follows the rules and regulations as Kṛṣṇa here, and the next stage that will awaken is Rag Bhakti. From your purity and your chanting, Kṛṣṇa will bless you. The spiritual master will bless you, Spuryada, and you'll find an awakening of attraction to Kṛṣṇa. That is Rag. Rag Bhakti means attraction. Vaidhi Bhakti means there is an adherence through tapasya and knowledge and determination on the rules and regulations of bhakti, but that is not the goal in itself. Those rules and regulations are to help the soul awaken to a particular mood of attraction. That is called raga anuga bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti, raga anuga. So raga means attraction. Anuga, what does that mean? Following the attraction. Well, if one follows Vaidhi bhakti nicely, one will desire to attain Kṛṣṇa in a particular mood. And this is described at the beginning of Jaiva Dharma, where the guru has two disciples, and he gets them to worship Tulsi and chant, and then they come back to their guru. And the guru says, after a few weeks, and the guru says, "How are you feeling now?" And one disciple says, "Well, I'm attracted to Madhurya Ras. When I think of Kṛṣṇa and the gopis and Radharani and the manjaris, this attracts me." And then another disciple said, "Well, actually, Guru Maharaj, I feel an attraction to Sakhya Bhav. I just feel that the cowherd boys, their jesting and fun and association with Kṛṣṇa is so attractive to me." So the Guru says, "Okay, now your raga is awakening in a certain mood. So I want you to now pursue your bhakti, and particularly your chanting of Hare Krishna, in that mood, cultivating that mood. And how will you cultivate nicely? You will follow the mood of the gopis and Radharani. You will follow that mood in your chanting. You will not just chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, as somebody in Vaidhi Bhakti may be doing, but now your raga, your desire to attain Krishna is waking up, so it's taking a particular mood because that is your constitutional nature. So now the Guru says, so cultivate that mood in your chanting. The mood is the central core of the soul. Each soul has a particular mood. So then he says to the devotee interested in Sakhya Bhav, so you chant in that mood. And anuga means that now you study 10th canto and the Leela Shastra about how the cowherd boys and Krishna enjoy their Leela, and you pick up that mood more and more, and you follow that mood in your chanting. And you study how the Ras Leela, the gopis, Radharani, and this will develop your understanding of your own awakening mood, and you, anuga, you follow that. But at the same time, follow the rules and regulations very nicely so that this awakening mood is not covered or lost. So that is Raganuga Bhakti. And that is particularly why Mahaprabhu is called the most merciful, because he came to give Raganuga. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is explained in the, I think it's in the Adi Leela, I am coming, Charibhav, to make the world dance with these moods of Vrindavan, Charibhav. And that's why he's the most merciful, because he's not just giving rules and regulations to live a pure life and elevate yourself, but he's giving access to the spiritual Turiya platform through that Seva Bhav in a particular mood. So, that is Raganuga. And that leads to Bhava Bhakti. And in Bhava Bhakti, one is directly realizing Kṛṣṇa. The soul is completely purified and he is realizing Kṛṣṇa, and that bhava reveals Kṛṣṇa and then the relationship with Krishna is revealed. Now this is also another important point. Sometimes people think, oh, I should meditate upon myself in a particular bhava, and then I'll develop that relationship. No, actually, you should meditate upon Krishna, and when Krishna's realized, you will realize your relationship with him. Just like when the sun comes up, you will see everything. So first, manmana bhava mad-bhakto, realize Krishna, then your relationship with Krishna will be inbuilt. It'll be part of that. But if you're just meditating upon yourself, then where's the relationship with Krishna? Do you see the point? So we realize Krishna, but in Raganuga we have an awakening mood and we chant in that mood. Now in this book by Jagadananda Pandit, Satyabhama, let me find the section. Yes, this is chapter 16. It's called The Nature of Divine Love. So in this book, Jagadananda Pandit, who had a very interesting relationship with Lord Chaitanya, he was always sporting and a little argumentative with Lord Chaitanya, because he's Satyabhama, and that is the relationship between Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna, they interact sometimes in a very sportive manner in their relationship. So anyway, this section, chapter 16, Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, Raghunath Das Goswami is Prayojan Acharya. Rupa Goswami is, that means the goal. Rupa Goswami is Abhideya Acharya, how to practice bhakti, giving nectar of devotion and everything. And Sanatana Goswami is Sambandha Acharya. Sambandha means relationships between the different energies of Krishna. So often we are said to be Rupa Raghunatha Pade. We're following in the path given by Rupa and Raghunath Das. So Raghunath Das, he wrote one very wonderful poem called Vilap Kusmanjali, where he's explaining his desire to serve Radharani in every single way possible. And he's explaining in that ecstatic way. Rupa Goswami is giving all the different procedures. Sanatana Goswami in the Hari Bhakti Vilas is giving all Sambandha Gyan. But now, this is Lord Chaitanya's instruction to Raghunath Das Goswami, the Prayojanacharya. So this is Lord Chaitanya speaking to Raghunath Das. Do not listen to mundane prattle, mundane gossip. And do not waste your time in frivolous discussions. Right? If you want to attain prayojan, I should asat sangi tyagi. I shouldn't be interested in mundane things. This is the first thing, negative. Don't do this. Don't waste time. Mundane prattle. That means prajalpa. Prajalpa niyamagraha. Don't get distracted into that. Why eat to titillate the palate and maintain the body lavishly with luxurious amenities? So of course, the 6 Goswamis, they're famous for their austerity. Raghunath Das, they would eat just maybe some chach and so on. They would sleep under a different tree, perhaps. They would be very minimal in their material luxuries. So why eat to titillate the palate, right? Oh, I want this, I want this. Oh, yes, then I'll chant. No, don't make that a priority. Why eat to titillate the palate and maintain the body lavishly with luxurious amenities? Huh? What is that verse? Vasudeva bhagati bhakti-yoga prayodhati jnanati ashu vairagyam jnanam chayot ahoitakim vairagyam. Do not hanker for esteem and respect. Mahaprabhu said, right? Tranadapi Amarina. Don't be concerned that people will think you're a great devotee, but offer respects to everyone. Amarina. Don't be too concerned if people think you're a great or no good or this and that. But all the time, give respect, because they are the temple of Kṛṣṇa. Take shelter of the holy name of Kṛṣṇa and chant constantly. Kirtaniya Siddha Hari. Serve Srimati Radharani and Kṛṣṇa in the mood of Vraja, in the core of your heart. Right? This is what we're just trying to explain. You're giving up mundane distractions, but you're serving Radha and Kṛṣṇa with your chanting in the mood of Vraja, in the core of your heart. Now, Kṛṣṇa in the 10th, he explained, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam ye manapitam. So this priti purvakam, those that are always serving me with priti purvakam, that means in the mood of Raja. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa doesn't fully expand, but we understand from Mahaprabhu's devotees, this priti purvakam, bhajatam priti purvakam, they worship me with priti. That means, and full of it, purvakam, they're full of this mood. They're feeling, the sadhaka is feeling, I'm awakening in this sakya bhav, in this vatsalya bhav, and this is now the mood of my chanting and my meditation upon Kṛṣṇa and the execution of my mala. I'll say this again. Take shelter of holy name of Kṛṣṇa and chant constantly. Serve Radharani and Kṛṣṇa in the mood of Raja, in the core of your heart. So in your heart, that mood is there. The Lord's unequivocal instructions opened Raghunath Das Goswami's eyes of knowledge, and he understood that pure love of God can never be cultivated without first being freed from material illusions. Lord Chaitanya continued, through pure chanting and in meditation, develop your pure, perfected spiritual form and worship Kṛṣṇa, the Lord of Srimati Radharani. Free yourself from the desire for distinction and adoration, the mundane things, always offering respects to others. Cultivate complete detachment from material life and become as tolerant as a tree. Externally, your devotional service is to always chant the name of Lord Kṛṣṇa, and internally, which we're trying to describe, constantly engage in serving Radha Kṛṣṇa with your spiritual body. Now, for the sadhaka, his spiritual body is not fully developed, but he's trying to develop his raganuga. He's trying to follow that mood of Raghunath Das, of the gopis, or of the sakhis, or the Matsur. Okay, 1 minute. Control your rapacious palate, control the tongue, right? And give up luxury and comfort. Do only what is necessary for maintaining your body. Okay, so this is Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Raghunath Das Goswami, but we understand, of course, he's teaching us through this, that we're awakening to a particular mood, so that is our internal practice. Our external practice is to chant and to be clean and friend and not want respect, to become sadhu, But internally, this is very important, that we should be developing this attraction to Kṛṣṇa in a particular mood, and we should cultivate it. That is the message of the Goswamis. That is the message of Mahaprabhu, how to internally develop your Swarup by observing under direction of Guru your awakening desire to attain Kṛṣṇa in a particular mood, and then you chant cultivating that mood. Is that all clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you very much. So, Shri Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Raganuga Bhakti Prem Bhakti Ki Jai. Thank you all very much. We have to finish now because there's a